this evening. First, relief is underway. Vice President Barjagio announces when you can expect your $100,000 cash grants. Plus, drama in Parliament. Opposition Member of Parliament Asha Kissoon supports the government's budget, prompting a walkout and a fiery debate over her seat in the Assembly. Also, a 16-year-old girl was found dead in Barmita. Police are hunting for the suspect, a man nearly 3 times her age. What we know about this tragic case. And a children's parade turns chaotic. 3 men accused of attacking police officers are now behind bars after a viral video sparks outrage. Finally, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio heads to Panama, why President Trump is concerned about China's influence on the canal. Stay tuned, these stories and more coming up next on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 31st, 2025. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with an update on the highly anticipated $100,000 cash grants. After much speculation, Vice President Dr. Barjagio has confirmed that distribution will resume following the passage of the 2025 national budget. For more details on this development, we go to our reporter Malcolm Carter, who has been following the story closely.
Guyanese awaiting their $100,000 cash grant can expect distributions to resume after the passage of the 2025 national budget, according to the Vice President Dr. Barjagio. Speaking at the press conference at Freedom House, Dr. Jagio confirmed that the registration process for the grant has been completed in all regions.
They told me that they've completed the process in the remaining 5 regions. Below is the summary of the checks printed by regions. Region 1, 16,356. I'm going to round up. I'm not going to go through all the details. Region 2, 10,000. Region 3, 23,000. Region 4, 177,000. Region 5, 13,000. Region 6, 20,000. Region 7, 11,000. Region 8, 7,000. Region 9, 16,000. Region 10, 7,895. These are checks printed so far. So now, as soon as the resources are placed in because we are appropriating, hopefully by next week, Thursday, the budget will be completed. You have 4 days for the estimates to be considered by next week. The remaining regions would start getting their checks.
He assured that permanent registration arrangements would be put in place for those unable to sign up earlier.
So they've completed the registration. But let me repeat once again that anyone in any region who's been unable to register, we're putting in place permanent arrangements where they can go in and get registered. And then I'd have to talk to them about how we deal with people who can't come to the places and get registered, disabled, shut in, etc. We'd also have to sort them out. So even if they completed, say, Region 6 or Region 2 or 10, and people didn't get registered now, then that doesn't mean that's the end of it. We put in place additional arrangements. So that's where we are at this stage.
To date, over 400,000 Guyanese have registered for the grant, with more than 300,000 checks already printed. The Vice President dismissed claims on social media that the government is delaying the grant's disbursement, emphasizing that the process is moving forward as planned. Dr. Jagio expressed hope that the budget will be approved by next Thursday, allowing remaining funds to be distributed smoothly. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Staying with current events, Dr. Asha Kissoon, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and opposition member representing the New Movement and Joiner Party, has expressed her full support for the government's $1.3 trillion budget.
To begin, I would like to commend the government of Guyana for the strides taken in the right direction. I'm particularly impressed by the housing programs, agricultural projects, expansion in healthcare, and all the development that I see happening.
Speaking on day 4 of the 2025 budget debates, Dr. Kisoon, an independent thinker within the opposition, was met with disdain by her colleagues who walked out during her speech. Before leaving, Opposition Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson made a pointed gesture, holding up a sign that read, "Honorable Asha Kisoon, your time is up. Why are you squatting?" Dr. Kisoon candidly responded before pushing forward with her presentation.
I must say the opposition has really made me feel welcome, because this house is witnessing a case of pot telling kettle that his bottom is black. These are the same colleagues who squatted in government for 5 months after the no confidence motion was passed.
As a medical doctor, Kisoon spoke passionately about the benefits of healthcare vouchers with a long-term vision for medical care for all Guyanese.
The healthcare vouchers have played a pivotal part in many lives, and they have helped many people. The new $10,000 voucher is also there now, and it will help persons. But Mr. Speaker, I must say I have a vision that one day, with the advances in healthcare in our public system, that we would come to a stage where we do not even need vouchers, where our public health system will be so self-sufficient that we could cater to all the needs of the citizens of Guyana. But in the meantime, this initiative is welcomed and accepted.
Dr. Kisoon, representing the new movement, was expected to vacate her seat in 2023 as part of a rotation agreement with 2 other parties, but has refused to step down. Opposition Member of Parliament Jermaine Figueroa called her actions unprincipled, while Speaker Mansour Nadir stated the matter was beyond his jurisdiction. Despite legal debates and mounting opposition frustration, Kisoon maintains that her appointment is constitutional, while the Guyana Elections Commission continues deliberating on the issue. On a different note, 3 gang members are in custody for assaulting police officers. Malcolm Carter has more details.
3 young men from West Coast Berbice have been remanded to prison after being charged with assaulting police officers when they appeared at the Wellington Magistrates Court on Wednesday, January 30, 2025. The accused are 22-year-old Caden Singh of Fullis Village, 20-year-old Ronald Alder of Seafield Village, and 19-year-old Antonio Abrams of Paradise Village. The confrontation was captured on video and widely shared on social media. The incident occurred on January 28, 2025 during a children's costume parade at Lachman Singh Secondary School in Bushlat, West Coast Berbice. Reports indicate that the trio, allegedly part of the Belgium gang, was involved in a confrontation with another group from Lovely Lass Village. During the altercation, gunshots were reportedly fired into the air. When police arrived, the Lovely Lass group fled while the Belgium gang allegedly confronted the officers with cutlasses. The 3 men appeared before Magistrate Ravindra Mahabir to answer the charges and were remanded. Initially pleading guilty, their pleas were changed into not guilty after providing explanations. They were remanded to prison and are scheduled to return to court on February 13, 2025 for statements and fixture proceedings. Authorities continue to urge residents to cooperate with law enforcement to prevent similar incidents. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Stick around when we return. Police hunt for a suspect in teen's murder, and laborer crushed to death by collapsing concrete slab in Cotwood Creek.
It's Digicell's 18th anniversary and we're going big with our blowout sale. Get up to 40% off Samsung smartphones. Yes, you heard that right. 40% off Samsung smartphones. Grab the Samsung A05 for just $17,000, the A15 for only $27,000, and the A25 at a jaw-dropping $35,000. But wait, there's more. With every purchase, enjoy a 30-day free data plan to stay connected. Hurry to a Digicel store near you. Offer good ahead while stocks last. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Police are now in the hunt for 40-year-old Eon Moore, the prime suspect in the alleged murder of 16-year-old Janelle David, who was found dead in Barmeeton Northwest District on January 30th. Authorities believe Moore, who had been in a common law relationship with the victim, fled the scene on an ATV following the incident. David's body was discovered at a makeshift camp where she had been living with Moore. The victim showed signs of violence, including marks on her face and head. Police observed visible injuries, including marks of violence to her right eye and swelling at the back of her head. The last person to see David alive, a cook who lived nearby, reportedly seeing Moore packing his belongings before he fled the scene. David's body was pronounced dead at the Barmeeton Cottage Hospital. Police have launched a manhunt for Moore, who is suspected of beating the teenager to death. An investigation is in progress. Moving on, a 48-year-old security guard has been arrested in connection with the death of 77-year-old Pushanleo Rambaran, who was allegedly strangled outside his home in East Kanchi Berbice. Reports indicate that the suspect, Ramjit Ranlal of Adelphi village, is the nephew of the deceased. The incident occurred after Ramlal followed his wife, who works for Rambaran's household, and confronted her with accusations of infidelity. When Rambaran intervened and asked the suspect to stop, he allegedly turned on the elderly man and strangled him. The now dead man's wife, Lachman Devi Rambaran, said she is in shock and disbelief.
Right now, hindi ko na umide kung hit of it too. Because that was my hand and foot. Tell you the truth. My hand and foot. Come to the bed. Bring me biscuit and my tea. Care about a plate. Rub my foot with ointment. You affect me bad. But tell you the truth.
The grieving woman recounted that Ramlal came to their house to fix his wife's bicycle and was cursing her.
He look out of the bicycle and he cuss she.
She said her husband tried to intervene and stop Ramlal from cursing at their home. He later confronted Ramlal, who squeezed him by his neck for a short period before letting him go.
You only just to come to tell you to stop with this madness. And the man he take his two hands, he's strong, and he squeezed the husband.
Shortly after, Rambaran collapsed in his kitchen and subsequently died. An anonymous caller alerted the police around 10:30 a.m., reporting that a man was seen choking another person on the road. Officers arrived to find Rambaran lying motionless and rushed him to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Ramlal is currently in custody as police continue their investigation. In other news, Tragedy struck in Berbice, where a laborer lost his life in a devastating workplace accident. For more on this heartbreaking incident, we go to our reporter Malcolm Carter, who has the latest details.
A 47-year-old laborer lost his life on Thursday morning after a concrete slab collapsed and pinned him while he was breaking concrete at an abandoned building in Crabwood Creek, East Berbice, Quarantine. The deceased has been identified as Raghunandan Singh, also known as Roy of Crabwood Creek. The tragic incident occurred around 8:30 a.m. Singh's mother, 78-year-old Elise Damati, told police that he left home at 6:30 a.m. for work, as he often broke bricks from abandoned buildings to crush and sell for use in yard construction. According to police reports, Singh was breaking a concrete wall when a massive slab, approximately 10 feet by 12 feet, collapsed on him, pinning him to the ground. He suffered extensively, leaving his body with severe injuries. When authorities arrived, they found him motionless under the rubble. Singh was transported to Skeldon Public Hospital, where Dr. Aziz pronounced him dead on arrival. His body is currently at the hospital's mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, neighbors describe Singh as a friendly and helpful individual. Investigations into the incident are ongoing. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Don't go away after the break. U.S. seeks to regain control of Panama Canal amid growing tensions and Thailand pollution. Air quality at dangerous levels in many cities.
Digicel is celebrating 18 amazing years, and we're giving you the ultimate shopping spree. That's right, top up with $1,000 or more, and you could be one of 4 lucky winners, each walking away with up to $1 million in groceries. Imagine filling your carts with everything you need and more, absolutely free. Top up now and get ready to dash for carts full of groceries. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In North America, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has urged Google to reconsider renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America following a U.S. executive order by President Trump. She argues the U.S. lacks the legal authority to change the name internationally. Google, citing official sources, said the change applies only within the U.S. Sheinbaum criticized the move, joking Mexico might request Google rename North America as America Mexicana. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to meet with Panamanian officials on Saturday in his first international visit since taking office. President Donald Trump has voiced concerns over Chinese influence on the canal and seeks to reassert U.S. control. Al Jazeera's Lucy Newman reports.
It's been a quarter of a century since the United States handed over the Panama Canal and the Panama Canal Zone to Panama.
Panama has been managing the canal for the past 25 years without any problems, more efficiently than it was handled before. It's been part of Panama's identity.
But it wasn't always so. For nearly 80 years, the zone inhabited by Americans, known as Zonians, was off-limits to Panamanians. The United States had the right to govern and control an area twice the size of Singapore, including 14 U.S. military bases. It cut through the heart of a country that in many ways was created in exchange for permission to build what former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt called an epic feat. With U.S. military help, Panama declared independence from Colombia in 1903, allowing Roosevelt to build the Panama Canal, an engineering wonder that made navigation possible between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. But Panamanians soon demanded sovereignty over the canal zone.
The Panama riots were touched off at a...
It was January 1964 when a group of Panamanian students came here to what was the Balboa High School, only for American students. They were carrying a Panamanian flag, which they insisted should also be hoisted next to the U.S. flag right here. A scuffle ensued, and the Panamanian students then joined others further down to the main road, and that's where a group of American soldiers came, gunned down and killed 20 of them and injured 500 others. For Panama, that was the last straw. The president of Panama broke diplomatic ties with the U.S. and said that they would not be renewed until Washington decided to seriously negotiate the return of the canal zone. The U.S. agreed, but negotiations weren't completed until 1977, when General Omar Torrijos and President Jimmy Carter signed two treaties that would gradually allow Panama to take full control of the canal at the end of the 20th century.
It marked a new era of the United States' relation with Latin America and with the world. So I think, it was not a gift, it was a struggle.
The former president and son of General Torrijos says his father and President Carter were able to end colonialism through peaceful means. In the 25 years that Panama has been in charge, maritime traffic through the canal has increased significantly. More than half of the roughly 1,400 vessels that pass through it each year use a third set of locks, built by Panama to allow larger, more modern container ships to go through. And despite their checkered history, the United States and Panama have remained close allies. Until now. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Panama City, Panama.
Internationally, France's foreign minister has arrived in Rwanda after holding talks in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Paris is leading a UN effort to contain the conflict in eastern DRC, days after the Rwanda-backed M23 armed group captured the city of Goma. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
Hundreds of Democratic Republic of Congo soldiers who surrendered to the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels are trucked out of Goma. M23 says it's taking them for training. The Rwanda-backed M23 fighters took control of the city after days of heavy fighting in the streets earlier this week. Dead bodies have been removed, but the debris hasn't. Congo accuses Rwanda of sending thousands of troops into its territory, and it's seeking sanctions. The UN, US and France have called for Rwandan troops to leave Congo and for M23 to withdraw from the city, but the group's refusing to comply.
We are here in Goma to stay and protect the population against the uncivilized. We will continue the liberation march all the way to Kinshasa.
The march on Goma killed dozens and injured hundreds of civilians, mostly with explosions and gunshot wounds. In the hospitals, the floors are full and supplies are short.
The situation is chaotic. In 3 days we've received more than 400 injured people. Since January we've had more than 1,000. That hospital has a capacity of 146 beds, but we currently have more than 200 injured.
Rwanda and M23 say they're defending themselves from hostile armed groups. Congo says they're looting its minerals. Rwanda's mineral exports have doubled in the last 2 years. At the same time, the displacement camps around Goma have swollen as M23's fighters have advanced. The UN says about 500,000 people have been forced from their homes in the last month. In the city, many people have been hiding in their houses, hungry for days. Finally, a chance to collect water from Lake Kivu came when the fighting stopped. Electricity and water supplies are still cut off. Meanwhile, the pro-Rwandan forces have been advancing south around the lakeshore towards Bukavu. It's the capital of the province of South Kivu, which is rich in gold, coltan and cassiterite. This is what's left of a UN base after the fight for Goma. Its peacekeepers haven't stopped the conflict, which has lasted nearly 30 years. People here are still waiting to see if or when anyone will stop it. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.
Finally, across Bangkok, schools have been closed this week as dangerously high levels of air pollution hit the Thai capital. People are being allowed to ride public transportation for free until Friday to discourage commuters from using their cars, but the pollution problem is not a new one. Al Jazeera's Tony Chang reports.
A driver revs his engine, sending a cloud of black smoke onto the streets of Bangkok. The police are out checking emissions, and the news isn't good. Nearly all of these cars are failing, their owners fined and told to get their engines checked. Once again, the Thai capital has been swallowed by a cloud of smog, PM 2.5 particulate pollution, dust so small it damages the health of all those who breathe it in. But the real culprit isn't the exhaust fumes or industrial pollution.
Biomass burning, so especially in these recent years. That's including the trans batteries sometimes, and they also have unknown sources.
Burning agricultural waste, mainly sugarcane and maize or corn. Farmers, not only here but also in Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia, selling to some of the world's largest exporters of sugar and animal feed. The farmers say the cheapest way to dispose of their waste is to burn it. But if they do, they face fines or bans from the government.
Our objective is to protect our farmers.
But exactly, doesn't it make more sense to protect the farmer who can't afford to do anything other than burn his crops rather than the billion-dollar company that's making huge profits?
We provide them with the option, and the private company should provide them with the mechanical equipment. If they can't burn, what are the alternatives? We're going to discuss that.
So the government will be doing something?
Yeah.
But those huge agricultural companies carry considerable political weight. The opposition says lobbyists have held up clean air legislation for years, and even if imports from neighbouring countries are banned, all the benefits are still reaped by Thai companies.
We always say that we want to ban the import stuff, right? But we haven't said that we're gonna ban the export from the burn agricultural area as well. We have to speak in that as well. We have to take responsible for the other country as well.
The government insists that new legislation is on the way, but the Clean Air Act presented to Parliament a year ago has yet to be passed into law. Thailand has some of the biggest agricultural businesses in the world, but if the politicians here in Parliament are serious about tackling air pollution, those are the companies they're going to have to clean up their act. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.